banking union, economic union, fiscal union, political union, and the whole thing completely unaccountable to the electors in any member state. And I honestly believe that those southern European countries, trapped inside a currency that doesn't suit them, desperately in need of getting a devaluation and also getting back their democracy, because, of course, that acts as a safety valve. And I see the European monster getting worse over the next 2 or 3 years, and I see the suffering of people in the Mediterranean reaching a real crisis point. And I think the danger that southern Europe faces is there could be a spark, and that spark could lead to something akin to violent revolution. And I think, frankly, the whip hand is now so firmly with the bureaucrats. You know, they hold all the cards, that possibly violence is the only way out of this.
Wow, unprecedented. And I know you've spoken about this, but I've read and confirmed it. Eastern Europe being brought in to the euro, many of the communists, not just socialist, operatives and apparatus controllers have now found a second unbelievable life in the bureaucracy and are recreating the Soviet Union.
Oh, very much so. I mean, the European Commission in Brussels is stuffed with people who, before the Berlin Wall came down, prospered under the old communist system. We've had commissioners, 6 commissioners here, who were actually members of the Soviet Communist Party, members of that system that murdered 40 million of its own people, that led those countries to absolute misery and ruin, and they've now reinvented themselves. And frankly, what we've got now in Europe, and certainly governed from Brussels, is an updated form of centralized demand management economy. This is the new communism. Of that, I have no doubt. And when I say that in the Parliament, when I say that when I meet them, they look very uncomfortable because they know that I'm right.
What about this new EU symbol I've seen on posters hanging up at government buildings that has hammers and sickles on it?
No, we haven't really reached that stage yet. What they're trying to do is to impose their flag. You know, the flag that the Ryder Cup team had. Sorry to sort of put a sore point on America, but the Ryder Cup team even had that flag, the blue flag with the 12 stars. That's the symbol that really matters to them. And they think that we in Europe are going to swear allegiance to that flag. Well, we're not. We're too different. We're too diverse. We speak different languages. We have different histories and cultures. And the attempt to impose a false nationality upon us is going to lead to ruin.
Sure. Obviously, it's all over the UK papers. UKIP foster couple agony, children taken. Council tells them they're racist because they're part of UKIP. I mean, this is incredible slander, libel, defamation.
It is. What happened is truly astonishing. A couple in their late 50s who have been fostering for the last 7 years and apparently doing it very well, are both members of UKIP, activists in UKIP, and they currently had in their charge 3 young kids from very difficult backgrounds who happen to come from an Eastern European origin. And they were doing well with these kids. You know, by all accounts, they were doing very well with these kids. These kids were learning English. These kids were getting on. And there was the knock at the door. And the knock at the door from the council official said, "We have been tipped off that you're members of UKIP." It's as if it's sort of Eastern Germany, isn't it? You know, and we believe your party to be racist, and therefore it is inconsistent and wrong for you to have these children. And so these 3 kids were taken away from this couple that were giving them love, affection, helping them to get on to the real world. They've been placed elsewhere. They've been split up, which makes it even worse. And these 2 decent people, just because they support a party that says we should not be part of this European monster, and that whilst we have no prejudice against anybody from anybody in the world, we ought to have a degree of immigration controls about who comes into Britain. These people have been slandered. And it is, I think, just about the most revolting case I can see in modern Britain of an absolutely mad socialist Marxist mindset that has taken over local government in Britain. But there is one piece of good news about it, and that is that the whole country is absolutely revolted by what has happened.
And they won't apologize. Let me talk to you here in the break and see if you can do 5 more minutes to finish this. If not, we'll say bye here in a moment. But thank you. We're going to break. Folks, I've been following this. We've got it all linked up at prisonplanet.com and Infowars.com. Or just type UKIP into a search engine and click news. Hundreds of articles. The town council admits they took the kids because they're members of UKIP, one of the biggest parties. It's basically like the Libertarian Party. It doesn't even get into racial issues. We'll be right back. We have witnessed 2 terrible storms in the east, but we are still in the eye of the perfect storm. The most devastating economic conditions since the Great Depression, America's worst drought in agricultural history, and now the economic results of the presidential election. This perfect storm is a huge threat to everyone's food supply. I just doubled down and got even more supplies from eFoods Direct, and I recommend you do the same. It's time to get your own supply from eFoods Direct. I know I won't be standing in a bread line trading my freedom for food. I'm taking control of my future, and you're nuts if you don't do the same. Go to efoodsdirect.com/Alex to find the specials. And you can start with a holiday gift pack that's normally $80, now under $50. Remember, I can warn you, but I can't feed you. Call 800-409-5633 or efoodsdirect.com/Alex. Would you rather prepare 6 months too early or 1 day too late? 409-5633 or efoodsdirect.com/Alex.
Imagine waking one morning only to find your family shivering in the dark because you couldn't afford to pay your electric bill. That's closer than you think. You probably haven't heard about this yet because the liberal media has been suppressing what is fast becoming the most shocking news story of 2012. Obama's secret war on coal that could increase your already high power bill as much as 400% in coming months. As shocking as it sounds, it may well be just a matter of time before the lights start going out across America. But here's some good news. There's an underground video at exposed123.com that thousands of smart patriots have used to end their slavery to the corrupt electricity monopoly. The video at exposed123.com has already been banned by Google, and the liberal media is doing everything in its power to take it down and keep America in the dark. So watch it now at exposed123.com before it's too late. Again, that's exposed123.com.
Being an armed citizen means having a gun with you all the time. Carrying a firearm every day requires a holster that is both concealable and comfortable. Whether you choose our Super Tuck Deluxe or Mini Tuck, you'll have the confidence that comes from being discreetly and comfortably armed, prepared to face unforeseen dangers. Crossbreed holsters are handmade in the USA, come with a lifetime warranty, and a 2-week try-it-free guarantee. Order your holster today at crossbreedholsters.com.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
It's time for a home security quiz. Answer this. What effective home security device is smaller than a coffee cup, fakes out burglars into thinking someone is home at your house while you're away, plugs into any wall outlet, is recommended by many police departments, and sells for less than $35? Yes, it's Fake TV. This year, about 1 in every 50 U.S. homes will have a break-in, with burglars usually picking the easy target, a dark house that looks like no one is home. Fake TV is a small electronic security device that makes it look like someone is home watching TV by simulating the light from a real TV. It's like a lamp on a timer, but far more convincing. And for only $34.95, Fake TV could be the difference between coming home to a secure house or one that's been ransacked. Go to faketv.com or call 1-877-5-FAKE-TV. That's 877-532-5388 or go to faketv.com. Fake TV, the burglar deterrent.
If you follow international politics that affect us here in North America, because it's all intertwined by the same bureaucrats, the same mega banks that brag they've conquered Europe and the U.S. I mean, there's headlines where they brag they took us over by fraud, by derivatives. You'll know that Nigel Farage, a member of the European Union Parliament hailing from England, from the UK, is our champion over there. I mean, he's the Ron Paul in Europe. And we're just so honored to have him here with us in this short final segment. That another guest is joining us. And, of course, it was 2 years ago that he survived an incredible plane crash. Went back on May 6, 2010. We'll actually put that news article up on screen for people. Just unbelievable photos of the plane upside down with him and the pilot, and then he actually walked out of it. Just absolutely brutal photos that we'll scroll through there for people. But you've got the floor, sir, and the time we've got left here, finishing up with this family and this new attempt to demonize that you're not putting a good face on it. It has absolutely backfired in every newspaper I've seen.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, everybody, even the left-wing press, are saying this has gone too far. This is disgusting. The trouble is, whilst there is a wall of support for what we've had to say and for this, the council in Yorkshire who did this have announced there'll be an inquiry. Now, on the face of it, that sounds good, but really, this is just kicking the can down the road. I want an apology for these parents. I want those kids to be brought back together and returned. I want these people pardoned, and I want heads to roll. And it just shows you how government works in the Western world now. The woman who made the decision to take those kids away, working for a local council in a small English provincial town, is paid a salary of £130,000 a year. That's $200,000 a year. This woman gets paid to look after kids in Rotherham, and I want her to be sacked. I want her head to roll. And if we don't get the right redress from all of this, then I will, on behalf of this couple, take legal action, because people like this just must not be allowed to be bullied by the state. This case sums up just what goes wrong. We're very, very close now to having a thought police in our country, and I'm going to fight it with all my might.
It's Joyce Thacker, Director of Children's Services for Rotherham Council. And again, this isn't you saying they took the kids because they were constitutional, pro-UK sovereignty, sanity, just mainline, good libertarian folks. But, I mean, if they took these from bad people who, were white supremacists or black supremacists, still you don't take their kids. Now we've gotten to the point where they're proud of it and are saying that this is the way it is. This is the thought police.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it really is. I mean, this is the Orwellian nightmare come true. I think, this case illustrates just how bad, just how rotten things have become. But listen, I'm going to do my best to make sure Joyce Thacker loses that big salary she gets for not looking after kids in Rotherham. And I want this decent couple, really good people who society needs, and I want them pardoned, back on the foster register. And I think also they probably deserve a bit of compensation for what they've been through.
But again, they intend to stick to their guns, saying that one of the biggest parties in the UK is evil. I mean, it's clear that if these people have their way, I mean, I see them all the time calling in the UK for the arrest of people that don't believe in man-made global warming, who don't want to pay Al Gore money.
Yeah, well, I mean, there is a huge ideological war, isn't there, that's going on here between those of us that believe in free speech and liberty and the right that we can agree and disagree on things, and this new horrible, bureaucratic, monstrous state that is gone beyond the democratic process. And, in a sense, this case in Rotherham is just a little small example of my bigger battle against the whole European monster. It's about, frankly, I believe, Alex, it is about the battle between good and evil.
It is. In the 1 minute we've got left, how do people get involved who are listening in the UK to UKIP, and people in Europe who want to export these ideas of freedom against the ideas of tyranny?
Absolutely. This battle is as important in every other European country as it is in the United Kingdom. If you look at ukip.org, you'll see what we're doing. It's a good website. It's updated every day. We are the campaign for truth and liberty. We've got the establishment in Westminster absolutely terrified of us. And you know what? We haven't even started yet.
Worldwide, people are waking up to the globalist tyranny, and member of parliament from the UK to the EU, Nigel Farage,